So the new 2025 Boxer just released, and if you've been watching closely, you've probably seen me riding this Boxer and prototypes of this Boxer for around the last year or so. I'd just like to take a chance to explain what's changed in this new Boxer and how that might benefit you and whether it's worth upgrading to. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the most notable changes on the 2025 Boxer are a couple of key things. One, it's got that diagonal load seam like the Pivot has. The structure and rigidity of the Boxer overall has been increased, and the aspect ratio of the smaller sizes have been decreased. First of all, the diagonal load seam. This is a pretty cool feature, and I think it did really improve the Boxer because the diagonal load seam helps keep the canopy a bit tighter and helps keep the kite feeling fresher for longer. I've been riding this kite for a while now, dropping it in the waves and doing various things with it you probably shouldn't do to kites. And I think that diagonal load seam is definitely keeping it a bit stiffer and a bit crispier for longer. The canopy stays a bit tighter and the kite just flies better for a longer period of time. Now that moves us on to the second fact, which is that this Boxer has been substantially increased, like rigidity wise, partially due to that diagonal load seam, but also just due to the way the panels have been laid out and the way the stitching has been done, and the bridle. The bridle has also been improved. It's been moved and adjusted slightly, so the arc also has been improved upon slightly, so the whole kite just feels more solid and rigid in the sky. Now, I don't know if that's for everyone. I personally really love that, but I could see some people perhaps preferring the previous model Boxer because it felt less powerful at the bar, and the previous model Boxer also felt like a kite that can just sort of shoot forward and back much easier without pulling you. I feel like the added rigidity and the improved arc of this 2025 Boxer makes it feel more solid, and it adds a little bit of low-end grunt. So if you were riding the 2024 Boxer and you want this 2025 Boxer to feel the same, I would almost maybe consider sizing down in this new 2025 Boxer. I think if you rode a 6 of the 2024, a 5 of the 2025 might feel a little bit closer to how the power delivery and how much low-end grunt it has, because this newer kite definitely feels more grunty to me. Riding this 6-meter kite feels closer to the 7-meter 2024 Boxer. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't take that, as words, so to speak, but I do think that this does feel like it has more low-end grunt, which I really like. I think having that better arc and more low-end grunt serves better for a kite that's more stable, that you can ride towards easier and it will drift with you downwind. And that's one thing that I really like about this 2025 Boxer over the 2024. It drifts a lot better than the 2024 did. The 2024, because it wasn't as solid and it kind of shot around a bit more, it was harder to feel where it was in the sky, and it just didn't drift downwind as easily when you're off the power as this 2025 does. So for the riding that I do, I really love that aspect of this 2025 Boxer. And I think for most people, this 2025 will be a big upgrade. Now, onto the other point of this kite, the lower aspect ratio. That's really been improved in those smaller sizes, so under the 6-meter, so the 2.8, the 3.4, the 4 and the 5, they all have a lower aspect ratio per size than they had in the 2024 models. And I think that's a really big step forward, especially for how I like to kite foil, and I think how most people like to kite foil. You want to be able to run towards the kite, especially in lighter winds, and have it go downwind and drift with you well. And these lower aspect ratios in these smaller sizes really do help with that. It's a big difference for me. That's something that I've been working with, and my feedback to Ewan has always been that I would love to see the Boxer in a lower aspect ratio. I think We don't really need high aspect ratios, especially in small sizes for kite foiling. Kite foiling is wildly efficient. It's super easy to pull a kite upwind. Having a lower aspect ratio isn't going to hold you back at all. It's just going to make a kite that's more stable, more fun and easier to ride, that drifts downwind better. So lower aspect ratios for me are a big thumbs up, and that's probably my favorite thing about this 2025 Boxer. This 2025, it almost combines feelings of the 2023 and the 2024. The 2023 was a bit more rigid, and I think it also drifted a little bit better than the 2024, but the 2024 was lighter in the sky and I think stayed in the air better in lighter winds. So this new 2025 kind of merges those two kites and also adds those upgrades such as the improved arc, the lower aspect ratio, etc. As for the sizes I'd recommend, this is always going to be a personal thing too. It's going to depend a lot on your rider weight, the style of foiling you're doing, where you want to ride and the wind speed. But personally, I've been only riding with 2 kite quiver lately, and that's been a 3-meter prototype and the 6-meter that you see here. I've basically been using these 2 kites in all conditions. Now, not to say that's perfect. I'd probably rather like a 3 kite quiver. In the past, I've had 3 kites. Last year, I also only had 2 kites. I just had a 5 and an 8. But yeah, for my own personal style, if I was to make a choice, I would maybe have something like the 2.8, the 4, and a 6 or a 7. That would probably be my 3 sizes that I would recommend. And that's just to split best what I feel suits the different wind conditions and my weight at 85 kg and the style that I like to ride too. I don't generally like to ride bigger than around a 7-meter nowadays. I just don't like how that feels. I don't like how it reacts. I like to ride shorter lines, and much bigger than a 7 isn't really that good on shorter lines. A 4 is a very nice kind of in-between size. It's something you can use in stronger winds, but when the wind dips a little bit, you can still use a 4. And a 2.8 is just a mega fun kite to ride if it's super windy. I really love those kind of days where it's just maxing and crazy. You can just ride downwind on a 2.8 if you're super powered, sheet it out and just carving back and forward. There's no chance that your kite ever falls from the sky. You can ride directly towards it. It's probably one of the most insane experiences I've had is riding on a 2.8 in the gorge, just super lit. So yeah, that's my recommendation on what kite sizes to get. Overall, should you upgrade to this new 2025 Boxer if you have the 2024 or the 2023? And I mean, that's always going to be a personal thing, right? If you're happy with your 2024 or 2023, I don't think you need to upgrade per se. This 2025 model for me is better and it is quite noticeable. But then again, if you're already riding a 23 or 24, I think you're fine with it. Why do you need to upgrade unnecessarily? If your kite's getting worn out, sure, think about upgrading. Or if you have a 2024 and you don't like how it drifts and you don't like the power delivery, maybe then, yeah, think about going to the 2025. If you have a 2023 and you would like to get a kite that's a bit more similar to that and it's a bit lighter than the 2023, like that's really noticeable that this is lighter than the 2023, then also maybe think about upgrading. I mean, it's always up to you whether you're going to upgrade your equipment, if you've got the money, if you need to upgrade, if your stuff's worn out. Those are all personal choices you need to make, and I'm not going to be the one to make that for you, but I do think that the 2025 is a worthwhile upgrade, and you will be happy if you upgrade to the 2025 model. I hope this video has been helpful to you guys. I hope I've given you some feedback that's useful in your thinking about whether you should upgrade to the Boxer and how this new Boxer performs. If you've got any other questions, hit me up in the comments or the messages. Always happy to help you guys out. Hope you have a good one out there. Peace.